Hi there, my name's Achiampong and welcome to the Mic Drop. The Mic Drop is a collaborative podcast with the sole purpose of creating a space for migrants by migrants, exercising agency and exchange for a shared space of collective thinking, storytelling and debate. It is created through a long-term collaboration between members of Many Hands, One Heart and myself, supported by Heart of Glass.
Hello everyone, I'm Brittany here, and we are here in a really very sunny day with a lot of heat because we are in Easter, and this is a lovely time to talk about this topic. I'm here with Kieran. Hello Kieran.
Hello Brittany, hi everyone.
Good, good. Kieran is from the Open Table Network, which is a LGBT plus Christian supportive network. But it's more than Christian, actually. It's open to any religion and any faith, right?
It's open to anyone that wants to belong in an accepting and loving community, absolutely.
That's good to know. So we're going to talk about a little bit faith and religion today. So the first question I have for you, Kieran, is can you talk us about what is the feeling or the heart of this movement? How did it start, or what it makes you want to start this?
So the first Open Table community began in Liverpool, so it's always been a local thing, and there was just a small group of us, only about 6 people, who gathered at St Bride's Church in Liverpool, and people wanted to feel like they belonged. You know, people were feeling isolated in their own church community, because they weren't able to be open about their sexuality or their gender identity, and they felt like they weren't able to bring the whole self to that community. And so when the 6 of us came together, we said, you know, we'd like to create a space where we can do that, where we can bring our whole selves and express our faith and belief in God and our belief that we're loved as we are and as our whole selves, and not feel like we have to hide parts of ourselves when we come to church.
Okay, that's nice to know, because you know, I hear a lot of comments on social media, you know, because a lot of people are struggling nowadays to understand that you can actually be LGBT and at the same time have a faith. They are not at all. They can match. They don't need to exclude each other. It's quite interesting. Sometimes I read on social media that, oh my God, the churches, they do this because they want to look inclusive. They want to do a wash of their faces, or it's like they don't want to be outdated. So the thing is, I just realized, because I got a little bit of formation in this. In fact, you might not know this. The audience know this. But I was training to be a priest.
I did not know that.
Surprise.
So was I.
Surprise, surprise. Surprise. So I ended up the theology.
Yeah.
But I just say I quit because I like boys. Yeah. and you know, that's my personal experience. I cannot live a double life.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
You know, I will be happy to, if I still was a believer or something like that, I will be happy to carry on the ministry like being a priest. But if I could have a partner or something like that.
Sure.
I am honest with myself in that sense. I cannot live that double life, you know.
Yeah.
So the thing is, coming back to this, as I say, I got a little bit of formation, and my understanding of being LGBT and that kind of stuff is still on the Bible, which is where everything starts. Because my church is a Christian church, isn't it? So it's still there on the Bible. So can you talk a little bit more about this? The sense like being LGBT is not exclude from the origins of the Christianism?
No, it's not exclusive at all. Although many church leaders and Christians with a public profile make people think that it is, and people have had negative experiences, which is why some people feel they have to leave. And some of us feel like, well, actually we want it to be a better place, so we're going to stay and work to make it the place that we want to see. But in terms of the Bible, you know, there's lots of misunderstanding and a lot of very simplistic understanding, because, you know, a lot of people don't know that the word homosexual, for example, the first time it was used in an English translation of the Bible was 1946. Translations in English before that, it didn't exist. So there are many hundreds and millions of people of faith who believe that it's not purely black and white, and it is possible to bring our whole selves, our sexuality and our gender identity, and to bring our faith together.
Yes, and we can do a podcast talking exclusive about the
Exactly.
theology,
We
and that's
certainly
it,
could.
because it's a really extensive topic.
We could.
Like we need to like go step by step. But like you said, I would like to also highlight that we cannot think about our standards or moral or current moral with the moral of 2000 of years ago. So the meaning of some stuffs. They were what they were by the time, but today, on nowadays, it's totally a completely different stuff.
That's right.
But coming aside a little bit from the theory, I want to go a little bit more on the practice. So we have another special guest here, which is Sam. Sam already has one episode with us. He talks a little bit about the open table, but I want you to lead you the mic so you can speak with Sam about the pure experience to being part of this group. Is that all right?
That's beautiful. Yeah, thank you.
Okay,
Great opportunity.
head up to you, Sam.
Hi, good afternoon, everybody. My name is Sam. I'm from Malaysia. I came to know Kieran from the Open Table Church in St. Bright, which I live next door in Betty Court.
Thanks, Sam. Yeah, it's been great to know you in these last few years. How long has it been since you came to the Open Table community?
I think I know you from 2015 when I arrived in Betty Court.
Yeah. So I mentioned earlier that the first Open Table community began at St. Bride's, which is next to Burley Court, where many migrants are sent to live when they first arrive in Liverpool. And so we've supported many people and been privileged to get to know people like yourself as part of the Open Table community there. So how did you find out about the Open Table community in the beginning?
Every day I was living next door in Betty Court, and I noticed that the church there, St. Bright Church, and one Sunday I walked in for the church service, and I noticed there's a sign called Open Table, and I didn't know what is Open Table about. Then I start asking the member of the church. I said, what's Open Table? It's for LGBTQIA. And honestly, I don't know what is the LGBTQIA stand for, the short form. So then he says, yeah, you can speak to Warren and Karen about that. It's more on the gay side and lesbian.
Yeah.
And then they said we have an open table every fortnight, first Sunday and the third Sunday.
That's right.
So I started attending the open table. It was brilliant, and I do a volunteer work also behind the kitchen, serving drinks like coffee and tea and biscuit. Then we know more and more people, and I start to attend more open table up all the way up to Manchester open table.
Yeah.
And then new Campbell, Nicholas Campbell.
That's thank you. That's a whistle-stop tour of the story. So I might just unpack a couple of moments there.
Mm-hmm.
So you mentioned LGBTQIA. So
Yeah.
some folk listening might not know what all of those letters stand for.
Yeah.
So in the beginning, we started talking about being for LGBT Christians,
Mm-hmm.
and then people came and said, "But what about me? I'm intersex. I have an intersex condition. So I is for intersex." Or I'm asexual. That means I don't have a strong sexual attraction or even romantic attraction to people, and sometimes faith communities don't understand that. So people said, what about me? So the LGBT, lesbian, gay, bi, trans, queer, or questioning, intersex, asexual. And you mentioned Kieran and Warren. So Warren's my husband, and we've been part of the Open Table Liverpool community since the beginning. And you also mentioned that you've been over to the community in Manchester. So the first Open Table community began 14 years ago, and then 7 years ago we started multiplying. So there's now 6 communities on Merseyside and 3 in Manchester, and a load more across the country. And so you've been to several of them, haven't you?
Yes.
And you've been asked to speak at some of them too, to share your story.
Yeah, I think a lot of people quite share the story, and I was invited with the ITV News, and also those students from John Moore student invite me for the interview also, So yeah, people seem to know my name so popular. Only yesterday, recently, I went to the coach for a day tour to the this North Wales. The driver said, "Oh, I tell that came across your name." So he said, "Are you Sam under LGBT?" Yes, yeah, that's how.
Yeah, so you won your leave to remain in this country, but that wasn't easy for you, was it? So how did being part of the Open Table community help you in your journey?
Oh, that is great, because once I was with the LGBT groups, they really give me a very good support, and they do me on the petition online support, and they write a lot of letters to support me, and finally I got my status to remain in UK for 5 years. Yeah. Thanks so much for the church and the Open Table.
And well, I mean, your story was a really tough one, wasn't it? Because the judge was saying you can't possibly be gay because you don't have a partner.
Exactly.
And yet we also supported a couple from Uganda, 2 women.
Yeah.
And the judge said to them, well, you can't possibly be gay because you can't prove that you're a couple. I don't believe you're a couple. So the system is unjust, saying, well, you can't be gay because you're single. Well, you can't prove that you're in a relationship, so therefore you can't be gay. You can't have it both ways. But the system isn't about always, it doesn't always feel very just and fair, does it?
Yeah, exactly, yeah.
So you did very well to persevere in a really tough situation. It's been a privilege to get to know you during that time.
And also, I really want to thank Open Table. I was approached by the Echo newspaper who published my paper, and the Guardian.
Oh, that's right. Yes, you got into the national news.
Yeah,
while you were appealing against the decision to send you back.
Yes.
Yeah.
And also the Merseyside Radio. Also, I was on the live radio talk also.
But if I remember rightly, though, Sam, didn't you come to the Sunday morning service, and then for a while you didn't know what Open Table was, so you didn't come right away, did you?
No.
So didn't you volunteer at the Pride Festival?
Yes.
And that, I think it was actually at the Pride Festival was the first time we met.
Yeah, exactly. Because I didn't know what is LGBT stand for, so when I went in, I joined the Liverpool Bride and marching. I was marching right in front of the banner, St. Bride Church. I didn't know what's behind me. I just joined the march, and then slowly I get to know the Open Table. That's how I get to know.
Yeah, and it's a lovely photograph, actually. We've got a couple of people took photographs of you as a volunteer walking alongside the group from St. Bride's and Open Table and the other Christian churches that were in the... So you're right next to us, but we didn't know each other then.
Yeah.
And we made that connection afterwards.
Exactly, yeah.
And there was a writer published a book about being gay and Christian, and that photograph of you walking next to us was on the back cover. Do you remember that?
Yeah. I think the God Love Gay. I remember the
God Loves Gays. I think that's what it was called.
That's her book.
Like that, yeah.
And also I invited by the Reader Digest want to interview me for a book also they want to put in.
Oh, I did not know that one, but maybe we can share the details of that book with that photograph in afterwards. Yeah.
Sure.
And so obviously because you've moved to a new place to live now, and and with COVID and everything, we haven't seen you as part of the community for some time. But have you maintained your connection with your faith and church in some way?
Yeah, sometimes off and on when the Open Table have the Zoom meeting, I do attend the Zoom meeting during the COVID. So obviously we can't attend in person. Yeah.
Well, has that been helpful to join community online?
Yeah, it's still helpful. At least we can see a meeting going on and we know what's happening.
Yeah,
it's good also.
Because you were living in Kirby and travelling to the city centre even when you only had less than £5 a day to live on. So that was a huge commitment that you were making, and so it's good that we've been able to stay connected with people who maybe couldn't travel because of COVID or because of low income or whatever it might be. And so what would you say to someone who might be thinking about whether to come to an Open Table community and give it a try?
I always spoke out to people who I know from the Many and One Heart.
Yeah.
I said there's an open table in Sembra. You can come in the evening from first Sunday and the third Sunday. You can pop in, have a meeting there. And yeah, I always tell them.
Yeah, so you mentioned it's twice a month. So at the moment, the first Sunday of the month is just online. It used to be a bring and share meal, and hopefully we'll be doing that again before long. So anybody can join on Zoom, and there's a Facebook group, Open Table Liverpool, that you can get the details. And on the third Sunday, we are back at St Bride's since last summer, thank goodness. And everybody's welcome to come and see. So what advice would you give to someone who's maybe new to Liverpool and maybe doesn't know if there's a faith community that supports them? What advice would you give them?
Yeah, to be honest with you, I do join a couple charity like Salem Link and the Prescott one. Those people who are new from Liverpool, I give them about the information about the LGBT group in St. Bright Church.
Yeah,
I say you're always welcome to attend it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sam, it's a delight to catch up with you. It's been too long that we haven't been able to sit down in a room together for some time, so it's great to be with you again. And thank you for sharing. I hope it's an inspiration to many who are listening. And just to remind folk, it's not just Liverpool where there's a community. We've got one in St Helens and Sefton and Wigan and Widnes and Warrington in Merseyside, +3 in Manchester and 1 in Chester. And there's quite a few where people might be listening and not know that there's a community for them. And perhaps we can share the Open Table website with podcast listeners later. So thank you so much for the opportunity, Sam. Let's hand back to Brittany.
Okay, thank you so much, Kieran.
Thank you. Over to you, Brittany.
Thank you, Kieran. Thank you, Sam. That was so lovely to hear it. Oh my gosh. A little bit of nostalgia, because we haven't been like in a room for over 2 years or something like that. I just remember Sam's story was like 2 years ago, actually, when we were leaving. Sam's getting his status and everything. And it's like just remembering everything right now. It was like, oh my gosh.
I'm telling you.
Time goes so fast.
Time goes, yes.
And talking about time goes so fast, I have another special guest here. You hear her voice already. It's Manono. We already have an episode with her, actually. So this is like the revenge or part 2, Sam's and Manono's revenge. No, I don't know. But yeah, it's like catching up again after a long time aside. And yes, Manono, and something. One of the reasons, better say, I want you to be here with me is because in your episode we talk about your special relationship with God. And I remember we have that conversation. I was like, oh my gosh, I'm a Britney believer, and you're like, I'm a Jesus believer. And it's not who is the biggest diva, it's more about how that's influencing your life, and I just want people sometimes to understand people lives their faith in different ways. Sam, for example, he lives his faith inside the Open Table with the community. And I remember I asked you about that, if you were part of the Open community. You say you were to a different church. Can you remind us a little bit about that?
Yes. As I said, where I'm coming from is a very Christianity country, and talking about LGBTQ, it's abomination. Really. And also myself, I'm coming from a very Christianity family, and you can't talk about this. Really, you can't. But coming here, I've been going to the churches, the African churches where they don't really believe in LGBTQ. I've been to the Open Table in St. Bride's a couple of times. I do get emails. The only thing that I don't really go like I'm normally supposed to do is because I don't feel protected a lot living in this country. Because whatever I do, I feel like the Home Office, they will challenge me in that one, or they will take advantage from it. So for not feeling much protected, I'm also like still living in closet that I have to be going to my church, so that maybe the people in my church can support me in a way, knowing that I'm not lesbian, I'm just someone, Manono, who's coming to church. And yeah, so the thing that I've said I don't feel protected is because of the way you know my case. I'm exhausted now. I've just told you that my head doesn't function very well now. It's like this long waiting for home office is damaging my brain. That's what I've noticed, because I'm not going out since that pandemic. I've never been to church. I'm not going anywhere. It's hard for me to focus. It's hard for me to go to the meetings. I'm just staying at home. So when I met you, you told me about this, I was like happy, but I was also telling you, Brittany, my brain is kind of...
Yeah, you were like, Brittany, tell me, call me on that date.
Call me on that day, tell me, yes, because, yeah, so whatever I do, because of home office, I don't feel protected at all. So if I'm coming out, if I've come out and home office is not protecting me, so who's gonna protect me this time? So I'm like kind of not knowing where to go. So should I go to my own people, or should I just be wild like someone who doesn't have, like, not a human being?
Yeah, I understand that. Well, that's quite interesting because, well, I guess as everyone in the world, things have changed a lot since lockdown. And as I say, it was 2 years since we first talked and you share us our experience. But I believe even now the experience of living your faith is a little bit different. You're not even going to the church, you're not even going to any other groups, so you're still living your faith in private right now, if I can say that. So that's the way you are trying to live your faith. I wanted to ask if you want, because I think it's really important sometimes for a lot of people that listen, that they are LGBT, and sometimes the church are saying, like you said, that's abomination, that's a sin, that's wrong. How you, in your personal experience, how you find peace being LGBT, being lesbian, liking women, how you find peace if the people that are supposed to guide you in the path of the religion are telling you are wrong?
Anyway, I'm just trying to do me. That's what I'm trying to do me. This is the way I am. And I've tried to suppress it for a long time. And now I've made up my mind to come out straight. And I cannot listen to whoever is saying, whatever they're saying. These things that they're saying in church, they've been saying since I was born. And these things I've been suppressing myself since I was born, because I knew that I'm different from them since I was born. And so for me to listen to what they're saying every day, it's like making my brain as well not to work. Because before I was thinking, am I mental? Am I an animal? Am I whatever name that they are calling people? Because when they're saying, I'll be there and I'll be hearing the names that they're calling me, though they don't know me, that I'm that person. So it's really hard to be hearing the church that they're talking like that, but also you going to praise God and yourself. You just want to live the way you are, and it's between you and your God, not you and them. No.
Yeah, I think that really touched me the way you said, because I don't want to make this about me, but I can share in many LGBT people can agree that this is something that is inside of us. Because I remember when I was a children and I was watching old animes, Candy. One of my first crush was Anthony. You probably don't know who is Anthony. It was a blonde, blue-eyed guy. Yeah. And the thing is, I was a children, and since I was a children, I liked boys. But I got that feedback from church, like you said, saying that's a sin, that's wrong, that's abomination. And it's like you said exactly, I really feel when you said I suppressed that for many years. For many years I suppressed that. And even even I spoke a little bit of this before with Kieran, that I wanted to be a priest because I love to serve communities, and by that time the best way I thought I could serve people, or I could be in service, it was in the church within, because there's something curious about the Salvadorian churches, and I'm gonna do a side note from this, not trying to make it longer, but the Salvadorian church has always been with the poor people, and it's been an example worldwide with Monsignor Romero and everyone, that Salvadorian priests and that kind of stuff, they always chase or they always protect the most vulnerable people. So I like that. I like to live that service of with the people, with the Salvadorian people. But anyways, as I said, there was a moment like exactly you said, there was a moment when you said, no, I mean, this is me, I cannot hide myself. So if God creates me like that, why are they trying to cage me? Why are you trying to change me? Why are you trying to heal me, let's say? Why? And I got all these many questions inside my head. Yeah. So it's like probably you got also that.
Yeah, it's not easy because, look, as I told you before, I'm coming from a country where religion, it came from England to my country. That's how they teach us Bible. And coming to know Bible, we learn Bible, but most of the churches where I'm coming from is Church of England. So when I decided to come here so that I can be me the way I am, because I know back home here, I know that they will receive people, and coming to know that they judging me in a way that we don't believe you. You don't have a partner. What I'm going through right now, maybe you can even defend me on that one. The life that I'm living now, who can be thinking of having a partner?
I am. but yeah, I understand you. I understand you.
I'm going through a lot.
I know.
I don't go anywhere. Fine, if I have a partner who wants to live normal life, who can live normal life with £35 uncashed card?
No, of course I get you, and that was one of my struggles. Because there's one thing, okay, I want to clarify better say. One thing is I want and I can. So there's two different things. Because when I was an asylum seeker, like you said, my self-esteem is still on the ground, but it was even lower. But a few years ago, I'm still trying to build up my self-esteem. But by that time, when I got like no migration status, I got no papers, no right to work, no money, not at all. I feel I have no value. So even people say, "You're a great person, Brittany. Oh my gosh, you're great. You're a sunshine." Blah blah blah. Inside I feel I had no value. What can I offer to a partner if on my understanding
I don't have it.
In my understanding, a partner is someone you don't use a partner for sex. You use a partner to build a life, a project of life.
Be happy.
A project of life, exactly. So in that sense, when I was like in the same situation, it was like, what can I offer to this person? I'm gonna be just a kind of weight. I'm gonna be just like a big luggage that they carry on, and I don't want to be that. So I understand you in that sense. Even inside of me, I really wanted a guy to hug me and take care of me and feel protected. The other side of me is like, yes, you want that, but you're selfish because you want that because you don't have any value. You don't.
Brittany, me, I've got a letter, black and white, a letter, 7 pages from Home Office, that I'm not supposed to receive any gift from anyone.
No,
only
wait.
The uncashed card. That made me scared alone. That alone made me scared. Because I know here in Britain, Christmas they exchange gift, Easter they exchange gift, birthdays they exchange gift, and there is some other thing here which I don't remember very well. They will exchange gift. Mother's Day they will exchange gift. So if I have myself, if I'm going out with someone, they will have to have gift to exchange here. So I know they've told me that I'm not supposed to receive any gift. how can I give to gift to my loved ones?
Yeah, that's sick. That's sick. It made me feel sick.
That alone in my brain, it goes every day that, wow. So am I a human being? Or I'm not?
Yes.
You know very well how long I've been in this country. You only came new. I've been in this country for 18 years.
That's a long time.
10 years.
It's a full life.
No money. How am I surviving? I depend on food banks. So for me to go get the partner somewhere, and I'm telling the partner, this is the way I live. I get food from the food bank. I get help, money from people. But also they told me I should not receive anything from anyone. So if I start telling you that you'll be scared, oh, if I'll give you £10, is it not going to give you problems? Yes, it's going to give me problems. Even me, I'm scared to receive that £10.
Jesus. Yeah, I
because
understand.
if the Home Office come to know, they'll stop that £35 voucher that they give.
Yeah, I get you that. Yeah, because I got a little bit of problem when I was in my accommodation that someone gave me a fridge. And they asked me, why do you have a fridge? And I was like, because the other guys here in the house, they are stealing my food and they don't buy their food. The other guys, they use the money for buy tobacco, buy cigarettes, buy drinks and that kind of stuff. And they steal my food because I do like the weekly grocery. And it was not fair that I use all my money from 1 week and then just in one day disappear because they used that food to eat. And it was like, so someone was good enough to give me a fridge, and in the Home Office they just came in circle. They say, why do you have a fridge? You're not supposed to have that. That fridge needs to have a test and blah blah blah. And was like, I didn't have this fridge because this is something I just made up, or I'm doing this because I want to have a fancy fridge and say, you guys, I have cold drinks here. I'm having this because the only money I have, I use it on food that is being stolen. How I supposed to eat? So the Home Office sometimes they don't understand that kind of situations.
Don't. So me, I'm a human being. I've been suppressed my sexuality. Now they're forcing me to live this kind of life. Am I going to be like a human being?
Yes, I got you.
So these are the things that you have to understand. So when I said I don't feel protected, that's what made me to live the way I'm living, like segregating myself from whatever is happening. I just want to be by myself, because if I do something, the Home Office will take advantage from it. But when I saw Sam doing whatever he was doing himself to help himself through the case, really, because me, my energy is gone. It's like I don't feel it. I've been here for a long time, and I've studied here for a long time, and I've got whatever certificate that you can tell me for a long time. Now I don't have that confidence of going out there and stand and work. I love to give treatment to people, but now I'm scared, because if I'm overdosing myself, can I go and work? I'll overdose someone innocent. So these are the things that I'm going through now in this country where I'm living, and I've lived for a long time. And this long time, I don't think that even if the Home Office, they're really, really human beings, can be looking at someone struggling or suffering the way I am. I don't want to depend on food banks. I don't want to depend on people giving me whatever they give. And whatever they give me is really expensive that I cannot manage to buy. But when they see that, they think I'm buying it with my own money. One time, there was a time that Seku went through my wardrobe. And the next thing that I received, that, oh, you've got expensive things. But people that they help me, they are the ones that they give almost my everything is second hand from people that they've put on and they wash it and they give it to me. I don't like to live that life, because I've lived that life before, that I was working, paying my bills, buying whatever I want to buy, and help my child back home. But now I cannot even manage to do that.
Manono, I'm really touched by your story. It's really, really profound and moving. And I really want to ask, because I think your story might help others to understand better in our churches, our communities.
Yeah.
You said that you'd been to the Open Table community in Liverpool sometimes?
Yes, yeah.
But you haven't kept going there, and you've been part of another church community. So What is it that you've been worried about in going to one church and feeling like you can't carry on with the open table community? What's that about for you?
The only thing that made me not to choose one church, which is open table church, it's because I'm out. I'm an LGBT lesbian woman, but because I'm not feeling more protected, so it's because my own people, if they come to find out that, oh, she's a lesbian, oh, have you seen her? She goes to LGBT church. If I want help from these people, they will not help me.
Okay, so
they will push me away. That
so the people in the other church who have been helping you might stop helping you.
Yes, they will stop help. Yeah,
that's really helpful to understand, because I think you won't be the only one in that position, and our communities would do well to learn from that. So the people who lead our communities around the country, there's places like Liverpool and Manchester and London where we meet a lot of people who are seeking refuge and asylum, and we want to be there for them as best as we can. So what advice would you give to the leader of an open table community, or volunteers in an open table community who meet people who are seeking refuge and asylum? How could we help you better, or how could we help you feel more protected?
Yeah, the help that you can, because there is a lot of people out there who are like me. Some they're still in closet, some they're scared to come out, because when I tell them that story, my story, they will be like, oh, wow, so really I don't want that. I don't want that happen to me, because they get shocked like you, the way you. But anyway, cases are different. That's what I know. I know I've been in this group, Many Hands One Heart, for a long time, and I've seen people getting their papers and they're going. And when one time I went to court with my girlfriend, they refused my girlfriend to. They told us straight away that we don't believe you. And if you see my girlfriend now, she's like confused that the country that I was thinking that they can help me the way I am, now they're saying that they don't believe me. And who can I go and tell my story then?
Yeah.
Do you think if I go and tell my story, people there, are they going to believe me, or are they going to understand me very well, like the way I am right now? Which is true, that's the way I feel. If people that I believed, they're not giving me freedom.
Yeah.
So if I go and tell, because I've been talking about my story to a lot of people who are professionals, they ask me questions. What can I do to help? I don't know.
Yeah. Well, it sounds like what you really need is for people to believe you.
Yeah.
And that's maybe the most important thing.
Yeah.
Well, that's a huge lesson that we can all learn from that. And thank you for the opportunity to ask, and for you to be so open and honest. And I really responded to what you were saying about the Home Office not believing you can be in a relationship, but also how can you be in a relationship when you've got so little money and maybe so little opportunity to
live like
to live
just to
spend time with people in a relaxed way because of the challenges of your living situation. And it reminded me of the support we gave to Sam when the judge was saying you can't be gay because you don't have a partner. Well, how can you have a partner when your life situation is so challenging?
It's in a mess.
Yeah.
Talking about moving houses, I don't know for 10 years how many houses I've lived. That alone, you feel you're unsettled, that you can be in a relationship. I came here when I was young. Now I'm not getting younger. I'm getting older. When am I going to live like a human being? From good life to bad life. Now, I want to talk about this now. This is Rwanda now is going to happen.
Yeah.
Oh.
I'm not stopping anything, but I'm trying to challenge that.
Well,
Whatever that they want to do, but LGBT, imagine sending LGBTQ to Rwanda,
it's insane.
where it's abomination to live.
I know I want to carry on about that, but the thing is right now is everything so confusing, and even the Home Office, they being smart enough to not disclose who is going to be there, who is going to be sent there, and it's like that's really tricky.
Don't forget the bill was saying before about LGBTQ.
And the bill, yes. So all the thing is they are doing is like they are not making everything clear, so we cannot protest, and that's even more dangerous.
And this, when the day that they announced this, I received a message from Home Office the very day that they announced, the very same time that the Boris was saying it on TV. I received a text message that if I want help to sign a voluntary return,
No way.
they can help me to do so. Now, everyone knows that I'm living my life as a lesbian here in England. And I have to sign a voluntary return. Going where?
Yeah, that's...
Going where? Is it my home country or Rwanda? How can... If they want to take me to Rwanda, then they better just kill me here before I go.
Yeah, I've been there. Honestly, I've been there. That was my thought. I'd rather to kill myself
Yes.
here rather than to go back to El Salvador. And
with my age, I don't want to be thinking like that. Yes. But really, imagine taking the LGBTQ person to Rwanda, where Rwanda itself cannot accept LGBT.
yeah, it's really dangerous. And
Very dangerous.
And as I said-
and they're not saying it who's going there. Because they're just saying, oh, if the application being successful, then you build your life or you can come to England. I don't think so. They are lying.
yeah, yes, that's a lie. And I would say I would like to carry on that conversation, even probably inviting someone that is a solicitor or something like that can help us with that. Very good idea,
with the answer that we can.
And but keeping us on track. Thank you, being really generous, honestly. And as I said, I've been there, so I understand really well what is all that struggle. And sometimes the feeling of not being capable to defend yourself against this system is just horrible. And I think I learned, and hopefully people out there, they learn a lot today. And we got two different experiences. You know, it's difficult. If it's difficult for us as asylum seekers to carry on the process like Sam, with that community of support, because Christianism and the open table is based on that, and love and support of each other. We have the other side of the coin. People like you and me that we struggle along. We don't have like this supportive network. Even like you said, you feel sometimes you are scared to feel rejected by your own people. So this is the two sides sometimes of the coin.
Yeah.
And maybe the best thing sometimes is to leave that to sink and reflect. Not sure if you want to say a few last words, Kieran?
Just to say thank you so much for the opportunity to hear your stories and to come alongside you for a little while, and to take the advice that you've both given us about how we can be better at believing your stories and supporting you and affirming you and loving you in the best way that we can. You know, it's a privilege to share this time with you today. Thank you.
Yes. Thank you to everyone that spent this time with us. And as I said, I hope you learned something as we did today. So this is the mic drop, and we are out.
My name's Larry Achiampong, and thank you for listening to the mic drop. If you'd like to listen to previous episodes of the series, or to tune in for more episodes coming through, please check out heartofglass.org.uk. Additionally, the mic drop can also be found at anchor.fm.